And we're done. Hello and welcome back to the Jean Made channel. My name is Paula Jean and I am just in the middle of putting together my reef sweatshirt. I had done a fabric haul and plans video a little while back highlighting some stretch French terry that I got from Serge Fabrics in a couple of different colors, and I had the plan to make a sweatsuit with a few options that I had for the top part, and I ended up landing on the reef. I have already made the bottoms, which are the comfy pants from Pattern Scout. I did the version of them that I had altered a few years back. I made the fit a little bit slimmer and I took it in at the knee so that I could have a bit of a flared leg. So those I just did in the cocoa brown. I didn't want to put any other colors, like coordinating colors with the rest of the sweatshirt on it, because I actually want to be able to wear those sweatpants with other things. So I just kept them plain. It was a super quick sew, and I love the fit of those. So now with the reef, I have actually just finished doing some hand embroidery, hand stitching type things on some sections of it. But before I take you through that, I'm gonna show you how I got to this point. I had said in the plans video that I thought I wanted a hood. It turns out when I ended up doing the layout of everything that I thought this style was actually gonna look better with just a collar. So that's what I'm doing, but I am still doing the full zip. So before I bring you up to speed on how I got to this point, let me tell you about the top that I am wearing. I'll just get my stool out of the way here so you can get a kind of a fuller picture. This is the Everyday Crop Top by Jessie Lou's Closet. I was a pattern tester for this, and it's just a really quick, elevated, basic kind of tank top. It's got a lovely bateau neckline. I love where it comes to on the shoulder. Good with a bra strap, and it's fully lined so you don't have to worry about like ribbing or anything like that. I actually didn't have enough of my lining fabric to do a full lining. Also, a full lining means that you can make it reversible if you want to. But I didn't have quite enough, so I just turned it into an all-in-one facing on the pattern, which was really easy, and all the construction was the same. So yeah, love the fit. It's fitted through the bust and just kind of skims the body through the torso, so it's very multi-purpose. And she also has full and small bust adjustments included with the instructions. She also has instructions how to, if your bateau neckline is kind of draping a little bit just because of the way that your body is configured, she shows you how to pinch out some of that, or to extend it if you need to, if you have really broad shoulders. So really great pattern. I loved making this, and Jessica is really, really thoughtful in her pattern making and in her instructions. So I will leave the link to this pattern down below. Now I'm gonna go get a cup of tea, and I'm gonna rewind a little bit and take you through the journey of how I got to this point.
Greenstyle does offer an add-on pattern for different color blocking options in the center back, but I decided to do my own thing. Normally this is something I would do in Procreate on my iPad, but I've really been drawn to more analog processes of late, so I pulled out my markers and did a couple of different color variations until I came to one that I liked. From there, I could trace off that center back pattern piece so that I could cut it apart. Now, initially I had done some mathematical calculations and I was using rulers and stuff, but once I did that, I hated how it looked. It didn't match the diagram at all, so I decided to start over and just do it freehand. Once I had something that I liked, then I could trace the very center back piece onto another piece of paper and then add the seam allowances and notches. And then I had 2 brand new pattern pieces. And then I used this as a map to cut out this. As I was cutting out, I got the idea to do some hand stitching, and so I did a little sample with some tan embroidery floss that I had, and I really liked the way that that looked. So I just sewed the pieces together with a straight stitch because this did not need to stretch at all, and pressed the seams open. It definitely would have been easier and faster to do a backstitch, but a backstitch uses more thread than a running stitch. So I decided, because I only had a very limited amount of embroidery floss, I didn't have the name or color number, so I would have had a tough time matching it. So instead I did 2 consecutive running stitches. This ended up being a little bit more tedious and time consuming, but it was the right decision in the end because I only have about 18 inches of embroidery floss left. And here's what I showed you at the beginning of the video, and it even looks kind of cool on the inside.
I made this executive decision with the hand stitching to only do it on the seams on the light and dark brick colored pieces. I did not want to do this kind of stitching on every single seam on this garment. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be enough and that it's not going to look weird, you know, to not have it on the sleeves and not have it on the other pieces of the back. So fingers crossed with that. I also wanted to mention a little bit about the adjustments that I made. So I did not make a muslin of this. There are just too many pieces, and because it's a sweatshirt, I wasn't too concerned. But when I looked at other people's versions of this on different bodies and stuff like that, it was difficult for me to get a really good idea of exactly what the fit is of this sweatshirt. I mean, it is a little bit oversized, but it was a different degree of oversized on different people. So I reached out to a sewing friend of mine on Instagram who had just made this sweatshirt and asked her, like, hey, is it as loose as it is on you, or did you size up or anything like that? And she said that she made the size just according to her measurements. So I wanted something a little bit closer fitting, so I just decided to size down one size. I also, because I'm short torsoed, I just decided to take an inch out of the length of the whole garment and also an inch out of the sleeves. Because there are so many pieces to this, there are very specific pieces and lines for you to lengthen and shorten to make sure that all of the pieces fit together. So I just used those lines. I took an inch out, like I said, of the bodice, which that line kind of happens more close to the waist, and I took an inch out of the arm length, so I'm just hoping that that's going to be fine. I am going to go ahead and put the front pockets on, and I did do some of the stitching on the front pockets. Where the lengthen and shorten line happens on the front bodice should affect the height of the pocket as well, but I decided to keep the pocket height as is because taking an inch out of the pocket would have made it just would have been really weird. So it's probably going to hit a little bit higher, like closer to my bust line, but I've had other sweatshirts like that and it doesn't bother me. So that's what I'm going to do. And if I hate it, then I can just take the pockets off. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of this together and let's see what happens. She is looking awfully cute. So I got this all pretty much put together last night, and I just want to take a moment to say out loud with my own voice in public, sort of, how proud I am of the wiser woman and wiser sewist that I have become. Because old me would have totally gotten to this point last night and said, okay, I know I'm tired, I know it's the end of the day, I know the lighting is crappy, but I'm almost done. I just have the zipper and the facing, and then I can do all the filming and photographing and everything tomorrow, and I'll be done. And I would have pushed through and missed out on a lovely, relaxing evening at home with my husband. I would have likely messed up on the zipper and had to unpick things, and it would have been hard because of the lighting situation. And so I didn't do that. I got to this part and I said, you know what? What's the rush? It can wait. I can do it tomorrow. So that's what I've done. So all that's left is the zipper. Sorry for my cracking ankles. I've put some interfacing on the inside to hopefully mitigate any waviness that might happen. I've actually been really quite happy with the lack of waviness on the seams on this. So I also installed some Wonder Tape here, fully on one side, but ran out on this side, but I think I'll be fine. I did last night go ahead and shorten the zipper. I had this brown separating metal zipper on hand, but it was too long, so I went ahead and shortened that. I have done that a lot on this channel, so I didn't feel the need to film it. And then last step is to install the facing on the collar, and it helps enclose the zipper as well. That is going to be this color, which I think is going to look really nice when the collar is open. And then I will be done. And I'm purposely not showing you the back because I want to save that for the reveal. So I'm going to install that zipper. So I could stitch in the ditch or do a line of top stitching on the front that would catch this, but I have decided to slip stitch the facing of the collar. And then I also added, because I tend to hang my sweatshirts up on a hook, so I added a little locker loop here so that I can hopefully maintain the integrity of my neckline. Yes, indeed, the rumors are true. I did make an extra garment out of my leftover fabric. This is, I think it's just called the corset bra and top. This is another green style patterns pattern, and I had made the muslin for this years ago and completely forgot about it, and then went rifling through my patterns to see what else I could do with the fabric. And I love how it turned out. It does look a little bit circusy, but I live in LA and we're all a bunch of weirdos, so that fits right in. I'm also super happy with how the sweatshirt turned out. I don't think that it looks weird to just have the hand stitching on the kind of reddish brick colors and not on the brown seams. We'll see if I change my mind about that. But I think the whole thing turned out super cool. I love all the ways that I can wear the collar, and happy with the pockets, and the sizing ended up being perfect, just sizing down one and taking that inch out of the arms, and the bodice ended up working out perfectly. I also really love the 70s vibe of it, and I think the hand stitching also kind of adds to that little like 70s earthy tone of it, I guess. Or maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like watching my goofy little videos. Thank you so much for watching. Take great care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.